Hey YouTube, what's up? So I found this really interesting bit of information. I thought I'd just pass it along to you. It's nothing major, but I just think it's kind of cool. And basically, it was this research study that was done by the EPA a couple years ago, and it talked about how the urban areas are much warmer. And I knew this. I think it's just common sense that, larger cities are going to be, warmer because they have, heat sinks all around. They have concrete and a bunch of things that hold heat versus people who live maybe in the outer suburbs or even in rural areas, kind of in the outlining areas are going to be cooler. And so I knew that, but I didn't know that it could be as much as about 5.5 degrees difference, which is really interesting during the day. They say that actually it's a little more noticeable during the winter than even during the summer, which I thought that was interesting. And they said that, when the sun sets, though, there can be as much as a 22-degree difference in the first 2 hours after sunset compared to like the urban versus a more rural area. And I thought that was really interesting. I mean, that's a pretty, large number, 22 degrees difference in some cases in the first 2 hours after sunset. So that just shows right there that, concrete and all the other different materials that can hold heat, uh, well, it makes a difference. And so, um, a lot of people kind of talk about, uh, different environmental concerns and everything. But I think one of the best things you can do is try not to live in a really large city, because also in this study they talked about how there's a lack of air movement, like air current, that a lot of air gets trapped in large cities, and that's another reason why there's higher temperatures. Of course, there's a lot of like air conditioners and different things, heaters, and just a lot of different other types of pollution and things that cause the ambient temperature to be higher as well. But and they also talked about vehicles, a lot more traffic, and then just the fact that a lot of people are walking around or doing things. People put off heat, so it's really really interesting to look at differentials in temperatures, versus cities and rural areas, and kind of draw a conclusion that, if we ever do have global warming, which I'm not a real big believer of that at all, you might be much better off living in the countryside because you're going to just be a lot cooler.